Today we're going to put an e-bike against the original ride-sharing service, Uber. It's going to consist of a 6-mile round-trip ice cream run. We're going to crown the winner based off of a 5-star rating in speed, hassle, and cost. The winner gets ice cream, the loser gets their logo burned alive. It'll be rough. Let's go. So the Uber trip starts with taking out my phone, putting in my pickup and drop off details, and then just waiting for the driver. It's a little bit of a hassle because I have to just wait for them. But the e-bike trip starts like this. I put on my jacket and I go downstairs. Team e-bike starts off in the lead because I can just start the trip immediately, for the most part. Okay, not sure if you can hear that, but it's extremely rainy. One of the things that's kind of made me ride my bike less in this past year is that we moved to a new apartment, and before I could just get my bike out of like the front door and then ride out. Now I've got to go through like 3 doors just to get out of the house. So while Team e-bike finished getting their bike out of storage, Team Uber headed downstairs. Yeah, we're going to buy right. 4 minutes in and both teams were on the road. One team was drinking complimentary water, and the other team, that's the one I'm rooting for, is pedaling through it. Pretty wet out here. Yeah, right here is perfect. All right, right now we are 21 minutes in, which I think is quite a bit faster than the bike trip. When both trips got to the front of the grocery store, the Uber trip had taken 21 and a half minutes, and the e-bike had taken 23. The first leg of the trip broke down like this. Here's the Uber, and here's the e-bike. Also, I'm addicted to sugar and ate both of these pints without recording any B-roll, but I think the orange cardamom was just a little bit better than the roasted banana. Okay, we're making super good time, so I'm hoping that this next Uber will take like a year. Otherwise, I feel like at least for the Speed Star, the bike is definitely gonna lose. But on this very rainy day, it seems like I was the only person looking to Uber for ice cream. Just 4 minutes after I requested my ride, I got in my Uber. And with my only opportunity to talk to a stranger this month, I got on my phone. The e-bike trip was a couple minutes behind. If Team e-bike was going to catch up to Team Uber, I was going to need some clear bike lanes and a few green lights. Time. Let's give out some gold stars. Let's start with hassle. Because of bike thieves, I can't just leave my e-bike out on the street like all of my neighbors do with their Teslas and BMWs. Instead, I've got to drag my e-bike out from the innards of my apartment building every time that I want to ride it. So for hassle, at least in my apartment building, the e-bike gets 3 stars. The Uber gets 4 stars. The Uber is in the lead, but now let's talk cost. My 2 Uber trips cost $33.89. That's $5.44 per mile. That's a lot of money. Meanwhile, I've got a nice mid-drive e-bike that could probably last me a few decades. And if it does, then this trip costs pennies. But let's assume that it doesn't, and it either falls off into the ocean or more likely gets stolen, and I only get about 10,000 miles out of it. With that estimate and also some maintenance in there, the e-bike trip costs $3.41, or less than 1/10 of the price of the Uber rides. The e-bike gets 5 stars, the Uber gets 2. So I've got some really bad news, and I probably should be apologizing to the greater e-bike community for not planning this better ahead of time, but the e-bike trip was slower. So I expected the e-bike trip to win because I wouldn't have to wait on an Uber driver. I'd be able to just ride out of my house and start the trip immediately. But probably because of the bad weather,
Pretty wet out here.
and just a lot of idle Uber drivers, both of my trips almost started immediately. Also, almost 3 minutes of my not having to wait advantage was basically wiped out by my clunky apartment bike storage. The e-bike gets 4 stars, and the Uber gets 5. The e-bike average is 4 stars. The Uber average? 3.7.